Hello, everybody. My name is Alex Schlerf with Rogue Guy Media, and today we have a very special interview. Aliyah Mastin, star of Paradise Season 1, is here with me. Aliyah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Of course. Just a quick disclaimer for everyone who's watching the video. We're gonna get into like a little bit of spoilery talk at some point for season one. Not like too much, little things sprinkled in along, but if you haven't seen Paradise yet, first of all, what are you doing? Watch it. It's amazing. And if you don't want to get spoilers, just kind of tread carefully and kind of be careful what you listen to. So anyway, just to start off, I want to ask you about your process for getting this role. Like what was the audition process and how did the role of Presley Collins come to you?
So this was actually in a time where I wasn't really sure when I'd be working or if I'd ever be working again. The writer strike had just happened and it was slowly coming back together. And so I was also in school at the time, so I was really focused on that. And then I happened to get an audition and it wasn't titled Paradise. It was just titled Dan Fogelman Project. And Sterling K. Brown's daughter. So I was really excited about it. Of course, I was familiar with Sterling K. He's incredible. And so I did the audition, was really excited about it, but I didn't want to get my hopes up too much. So I was really chill about it. But I sent in a tape. I think maybe a week later, I sent in another tape, and then I did a Zoom call back. I then got flown to LA to do a chemistry read with Sterling, and I got the part like maybe 4 days after that. So.
That's amazing, and I think we're all glad that you got the part. You're really amazing in this show. I mean, in that process, just reading the script and talking to the filmmakers, whether before or after the role, and hearing about the cast, did you have any idea that the show would become not only as successful as it's been, but just as popular as it's been?
Oh my gosh. I mean, when you have Sterling K. Brown, James Marsden, Julianne Nicholson, it's a given. They're all incredible at what they do. But I don't know if I really fathomed. I think even now I'm still like it shocks me how many people have really seen the show. But I knew the material was incredible. I knew people were gonna like it. But I think even still now I'm still like processing that, wow, people watch it.
Have you gotten any people like coming up to you like on the street or like messaging you, like got any cool interactions relating to the show since it aired?
I have actually gotten a few. Here in LA, I've gotten a few people telling me, like, you are amazing in that show. There's a lot of times where I'm in Ubers and, you get to chat in with the Ubers. And they ask me what I do for work, and I say I'm an actor, and then they ask what show, and I say Paradise, and they've seen it. So it's cool to know that people not only have they watched it, but they also really enjoy it. They always get really excited whenever they hear that I've been in it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Pivoting to kind of the specific Paradise season one and a couple of details from the show. Obviously, to start off the season, Presley, at least to me, kind of goes from a character that doesn't seem of huge importance to the plot with to really integral because obviously her relationship with Cal's son, the stealing of the tablet, and much more like that. So, how much fun was it to kind of play out her arc throughout this first season?
Honestly, so I didn't know how much I'd really be doing, especially when I started. The scripts were being written at the time. Of course, they had an idea of what they wanted to do, but we, I didn't have the entire series in my hand to read. So I was also surprised as well. But it was really exciting that I got to, be a little mischievous and do some fun stuff. So that's always really exciting. And then season two, we get to do a little bit more mischievous things. So I'm excited for people to see that.
I'm gonna ask you about season two later. Don't worry, I'm very excited for that. Yeah. So the last time we saw, and this is gonna be a little spoiler for anyone who's watching who hasn't seen the show. The last time we see Presley in season one, she's kind of encouraging her dad to go and find your mom at the surface. And just based on your own interpretation of the scene, obviously I know you didn't write it yourself, but what do you think went into that decision with Presley kind of making that choice to encourage him in this way that she did?
You know what? For that scene specifically, I think back to episode 7 when um, Xavier is sort of making that decision of, do I go find my wife? Do I stay here while the world is ending? Do I stay and find my wife and leave my kids behind? Or do I go be a good dad and be with my kids? And so I think that, or the way that I interpret it is that maybe Xavier needed me to sort of give him that push because that clearly was a very hard thing to do. And also, I mean, at the time Billy had gone, that's a spoiler, sorry. Um,
It's fine. Go ahead. You're fine.
and essentially, we don't really have anyone in the bunker that we really trust. And I would be taking on a very serious role, taking care of my brother, making sure that we are safe. And so I think he needed that push. And I think it was ultimately my decision for him to allow him to go and find our mom because, we know the risk of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm really curious to see where all that goes. Do you have like a favorite either scene or like moment on set from season one?
Ooh.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
The first day was lovely. Nervous, of course, but it was so amazing just being able to work with everyone. Honestly, every day was really awesome. And then I would also say that the scenes that we filmed when we were about to enter the bunker, so in that little airport, that was really fun too because there was a lot of people on set that day, and so that was also a really long day. So we were trying to do anything we could to keep our stamina going and our energy up, and so we listened to like the Cowboy Carter album a few times, and everyone started like joining us dancing, and we played lots of games. But yeah, those are always really fun times.
I was gonna ask you about episode seven because it's honestly, in my opinion, just a masterpiece in filmmaking and acting and so many different things. We could talk about it for hours, but you kind of mentioned a little bit about that day on set. Um, so what kind of can you give us a little more about like what it was shooting that scenes and like what scenes you were able to see and like was whenever the final product came out, was it the first time that you saw it? Like were you on set for scenes even when you weren't in? Like what was kind of, take me through that day and those days and weeks on set when that episode was being shot.
So we didn't do it back to back. There was maybe we filmed one part of the day one week, and then we filmed one part of the day the week after that. So definitely, especially with our show, there's a lot going on, so it's important for us to stay on top of it. But I mean, we have excellent directors that help us stay on board with everything. And so it definitely makes our work better, my work better. Um, I want to say, I think I'm trying to think like in which ways that we filmed that. But yeah, we filmed on different locations as well. We filmed in this really cool Tustin hangar. And so that was really fun. And there was also like a lot of people there, so you really have to be on top of it because I mean, I want to say there was over like 200 people on set that day. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. But those are most exciting for me. I like it when a bunch of people are on set, and I like it when there's a lot of things to do. There were also stunts happening, a lot of panicking that had to go on in that scene. But those are really really fun for me.
Yeah, is that the format of kind of television, especially these days, whether it's a big IP or a new original show, is so much out of order, and it sounds like you guys kind of experienced that with the show as well. Is that
Mhm.
like challenging as well as an actor to have like filming one episode one day and then another, and like you don't know, kind of have to get the mentality of the character at a certain point in the script? Is that challenging at all?
It definitely can be. It definitely can be. Our show does that a lot. There's a lot of flashbacks even. So it's definitely a lot to keep up with, but um we we all work as a team, which I think really really helps, and we all make sure that we're each other is on top of it, and we know what's going on, and also we have, great directors and great producers that they make sure we're good. So
You mentioned, and I mentioned a couple times Sterling K. Brown, who's one of the many Emmy nominations that you guys have received for the show. I mean, I think personally that he's been one of the more underappreciated people in the industry recently, and I was glad to see him recognized for the Oscar a couple years ago, the nomination, and now seeing him get recognized for this show. Just how cool is it to be able to work with someone like him and also just the entire ensemble cast as a whole?
It's the coolest. I always tell people that, working with him so early on in my career is something that I'm very grateful for because he's someone that you can tell he deserves everything that he's gotten. He walks on set with so much integrity, and you can tell he's someone that's really thankful about how far he's come and the work that he gets to do. His stamina is insane. I mean, we could be doing a really wild scene and he's ready each time, and even in between scenes he's still, that happy, exciting, funny Sterling, and making sure that everyone else, gets a piece of his energy and is still having a good time. And so yeah, he's absolutely incredible to work with. He's a hero that you definitely want to meet.
Is there any specific, and again, putting you on the spot, like piece of advice you received from him or anyone else in the cast that, you want to highlight?
He told me that he can tell when an actor is thinking about something else while they're doing a scene. Um, and honestly still need to ask him more about that. Because I mean, the hardest thing to do in a scene is stay in the moment, especially when you have so much going on, or when if you're thinking about like a note that a director gave you, or even just your own thoughts about the scene or how well you're doing. How do you really stay in the moment? But he told me, yeah, I always think about that every time I do an audition or a scene, that you can tell when someone is thinking about something else other than the scene. And so I always try my best to be thinking about what the material or the scene has given me rather than thinking about, all the other madness that goes on in my brain.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mentioned Sterling getting nominated for an Emmy. You guys have also received, just in general, four nominations for the Emmys that are coming up later this month. How cool is it to see so many of your fellow castmates and just the show in general receive so much recognition at an award show like this?
It's incredible. I mean, I've gotten to see firsthand how hard they work and um, just I mean, our show is it's a difficult one. There's a lot of material there, but they do it with so much grace, and it's just been a really awesome thing to see firsthand because it's taught me so much. And so to see that they're getting recognized and considered for their work is really incredible.
So I'm assuming you're going to the Emmys later this month,
I
right?
am,
That's
yeah,
really
I
exciting. Are you nervous, excited? What's the vibes going into
am.
that?
Gosh, I'm actually really excited. Um, I think I mean, I'm sure I know that there will be tons of people there and people that I watch on screen there. So that part, I guess I am a little nervous for, because that's always a really nerve-wracking thing. You never know, should I go talk to this person or should I not? But no, I'm really excited to see my peers win. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for you, for all you guys, big time, honestly.
thanks so much.
Yeah, of course. So you mentioned a couple times, spoiler alert, it's been renewed for season two, which is obviously very exciting. You guys are you have you wrapped filming on that?
We wrapped last month.
Okay, that's awesome. So 2026 release, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just knowing that, whether how you're feeling about it now or before you started filming, just knowing that the show's been renewed for season two, how grateful are you to come back and film another season?
I'm really just like the experience that I get to work with these people again. Like I said, they're incredibly hardworking and just masters at what they do. So that was what I was most excited for, was to learn from them even more. But also, we've really created a family throughout season one, and so just to know that we get to do it again it really warms my heart. And also, I get to be a little bit more in the moment, and I get to come back to set a little more braver than I did before because I get to do it again. So really, really excited and excited to make those memories again.
I don't want to get you in trouble at all, but if there is anything you can tell us about season two to get the fans, the fellow fans excited, what would you say about that?
Well, something that I'm really excited for people to see is we get to see more perspectives on what happened on the day, episode 7, the day
Ooh.
where it all happened. So we get to see more perspectives on that. Like you, episode 7, I'm a huge fan of. I watch it over and over again. It's literally like a masterclass of everything. But yeah, that's really exciting. I can't wait for people to see that. And there's also new characters. So you're in for a ride. You're in for a ride. There's some wild stuff happening. It's If you thought season 1 was a lot, season 2 is even more intense. So
I'm trying to be professional and hide how excited I am right now, but that is especially expanding on episode seven. That's going to excite a lot of people. So that's awesome to hear. Um, I want to give you a chance to try to shout out somebody in the Paradise family that maybe you think doesn't get enough shine or credit. So it could be a cast member, crew, or even somebody in your life that just helped you get to the arc that you were playing out with Presley this season.
I love that. So I'm gonna go with Percy Dax Jr. He plays my little brother, James, in the show. He is the smartest, most kind kid ever. I love him. I work with him the most. So we're always playing Uno, bananagrams on set. He's the absolute best. He's going to be so, so incredible. I can't wait to see his career pan out in his future. And yeah, I don't know if he's watching. I love you, Percy.
That's that sibling love right there. I love that. Just to start to wrap up, do you have any exciting non-Paradise projects that are coming up in the future that you want to promote?
I'm actually working on original music. I'm a singer as well, so I've been working on that on the side. It's still very much in the early development stages, and I'm still, building up the courage to release it at some point. But original music is something that I'm working on.
That's great. I can't wait to hear all of that. Um, I try to ask this to all the people that I interview, and I know you might have to mention a couple of your competitors in the Emmys this month. But is there any other shows or movies that you've seen recently from this year that you really enjoyed and want to give kind of a mini shout out here?
Ooh. Well, of course, White Lotus. I actually don't watch TV that much, but White Lotus is something that I'm very glad that I caught on to. Everyone was talking about it. Really love that show. Some great performances in that show.
That's a that's a great choice. Yeah, just thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And like I said, the show is really good and you're so good in it. And I can't wait to see what you guys do the season two. And good luck with everything else that you have in the future.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course.